Hello everybody and welcome back. It is good to talk to all of you again today. And today we are looking at the first sort of announcement for Le Terrible. My French is terrible, apologies for the name, but this is going to be a future Tier 8 French destroyer. And she's interesting. This ship from first look looks like she is going to have some similarities to the Khabarovsk, except she's at Tier 8. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the things about the ship, and I'll tell you what I find to be sort of notable or significant. And the first thing you'll notice is pretty damn big HP pool for Tier 8 destroyer, 18,600. So that's not a small HP pool at all for a ship at this tier, for a destroyer at this tier, my apologies. The other thing, of course, is looking down, you'll see the guns, 139mm guns. These are big guns. There are also other destroyers in the game that are packing, let's say, up to light cruiser caliber armament, and that being the German destroyers, where some of them are able to take the bigger guns. But of course, bigger guns have their disadvantages as well, namely if they engage in a fight with another destroyer, the lack of DPM does hurt them. But with this particular French destroyer, that problem is alleviated because this destroyer has access to a very particular consumable, a main gun reload booster, which cuts the reload time of the main guns by 75%. So while traditionally the ship has a 7-second reload time, if you factor in adrenaline rush and you factor in that particular reload booster, you can get your reload down to something like 1.5 seconds. Additionally, if you factor in maybe things like basic firing training, you might be able to get that number down even a little bit more. And even though it only lasts 10 seconds, that 10 seconds is enough for you to absolutely machine gun to death another destroyer. So having this particular consumable alleviates some of the issues that destroyers had with having these larger caliber guns. With the large caliber guns, of course, there comes certain advantages as well. One of them, of course, is that the HE shell damage goes higher. So this one has 2,000 HE shell damage. This is a good amount of damage for a destroyer gun. And on top of that, you also have 10% fire chance. That's a really good fire chance for destroyer guns. So, that is pretty substantial because you're going to be able to set stuff on fire. And then, of course, remember, if another ship puts the fire out and you wait for their damage control to run out, and then you pop your main gun reload booster, you're going to get out a whole bunch more salvos in only a few seconds, and you can probably set multiple fires again. So imagine if you're a battleship on the receiving end of this ship, it sets you on fire with its already high fire chance, and maybe it sets 2 fires, so you pop that damage control, and normally the destroyer doesn't get off that many consecutive salvos in a row, but this one, in like 10 seconds, you could be eating like 6 salvos, which is quite significant. Also, the larger caliber guns means you're also going to have decent AP shell damage, 2,700. So if it catches you on a broadside, it's going to be able to do some damage there. And if you take a look at the HE initial velocity, 840 meter per second shell velocity is not slow at all. It should also be kind of obvious that this ship is going to be focused as more of a gunboat because, while it does have usable torpedoes that go out 9 kilometers, that reload quickly, 90 seconds, right, and they do okay damage, you got to remember that there's only 3 torpedoes per side. There's 1 launcher per side. I think there's a mistake in the posting where it's like 3x3. It should only be 2x3 to the best of my knowledge, but it's not really a torpedo ship, although its torpedoes are usable, unlike the Khabarovsk. Moving on, A defense. I don't think really there's any significant A defense. So yeah, I think A is going to be a major weakness. Kind of similar to the Khab as well. Khabarovsk doesn't really have much A power either. So, and this one's even worse, right? But she is 2 tiers down, so could be a little bit better. The other thing, of course, is the main part of this ship. The main selling feature is the maximum speed. 43 knots. So if you combine that with the speed boost, the flags, I mean, this ship can be zooming around the map at like 48 knots, which is crazy fast. Another notable difference that I can tell from first glance is that she is going to be more agile than a Khab. Turning circle radius 690 meters, which is smaller than a Khab. Rudder shift time 4.3 seconds. this ship is going to turn very, very quickly. Surface detectability 9.1, and again, this is why I said emphasizing more that gunboat role because she's expected to be spotted. 9.1 kilometers. It's not really great for destroyer, so you're not really going to be on anti-destroyer duty. But maybe supporting other destroyers, and mostly just providing that gunfire support, that annoying gunfire support, very much like the way the Khab does it. But yeah, aside from sort of the paper stats, my one concern would actually be if you actually take a look at this particular ship, the rear gun arcs for the last two turrets might be kind of awkward, because if you actually look at the design of the ship, the front two guns have good arcs. The one gun there, the number 3 gun, that one should have okay arcs as well, especially when you're kiting inwards, but the two at the back, I mean, looking at the diagrams for the ship, maybe a little bit awkward there, and so that might be the limitation, right? But again, if you're figuring her to be a sort of a standoff range spammer of shells with that consumable, yeah, even the garbage arcs I think could be workable because you're going to be able to stay sort of broadside-ish and just lob shells and shells and shells and shells. So it does kind of work in that gunboating role. Anyways, what do you think? How would you like the idea of having a Khabarovsk-like ship down at tier 8, something that's very, very fast, with nice punchy guns, good fire chance on those guns, and just maybe one of those pest-like destroyers that can really annoy your team? Do you like this idea of having the ship down at tier 8, or do you not? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. One final thing, and I sort of forgot this, is I still have codes to give away for the CCT crate codes, so make sure if you're interested to leave a comment in the comment section below. Ideally something constructive, obviously, but you know, you can just say, I'm here and I want a code. That's okay too, and I'll just pick a name for, I guess, a video I'll release later on this week. Aside from all that, folks, take care, have yourselves a good one, and I'll talk to you all in the next video, which hopefully I'll get up in the next hour or two, because I'm trying to get 2 videos out today. Anyways, until then, talk to you all soon.